So, anybody know, somebody plow?
And it's a very, low, it's a low commitment, like, it doesn't come up very often, right? The Board of, UCC Board of Appeals is not something that meets on a regular basis, it's only when there's an actual,
Yeah, this is
appeal
more
to-
of codes and zoning and stuff like that I do, but you're right.
it's not a high demand job.
Correct.
You just have to have certain requirements.
It says, municipal governing body and its code administrators may not serve on the Board of Appeals. Does that exclude people from the planning commission as well?
It's a good question to
That's
ask.
a good question. Just asking.
They're governing, I think so, they're governing body.
Yeah.
So we might have to seek some people out.
Website transition, website's live, I've been handling, this transition so far, I will be, oh, Miss Kate. We'll be, training on the website this week, and we'll be uploading missing documentation that did not get transferred as time allows.
Is there a lot of
I'm gonna
that?
hit there. There was,
Everything, pretty much.
there was piles of
Are
it.
they,
So I was able to get 2024s done this week and didn't have much time, but I got 24s, agendas on audio, and the minutes that were approved, which I think was only January at this point. But I did get all that in for the BoS. I haven't had a chance to get into all the other stuff yet, but it seems to be, there's a few things in each year, but it's just haphazard where
so
it
the
came
new,
from.
who uploaded those? Couldn't the,
So we did that scrape. We did
Yeah.
it 4 different times, and Civic Plus said that we had gotten it all. We go
And
back,
it's
go
not
through it.
there.
But it's not there, so that's why I went back and said to Travis, contact them, they can't get rid of the content till they give us all the content. So, I don't know if it's a case of sour grapes we're leaving, or,
it just doesn't make sense.
It
that
doesn't.
They would be,
I
that
think-
it would
I
be
think
hit or miss
When I do a
document
copy-
transfer.
Travis was
You-
saying a lot of it came through, but it's, you can't tell what the titles are to the documents, so there's a lot of work involved. You gotta open it all up again. Just the way that all down, I don't understand how that stuff works, but
it comes in
I am,
packs.
as time allows, I will be putting as much in. I try to do a little bit every
Yeah.
couple hours and get some stuff in there.
Who's logging into the site and making these updates? Is it?
So I have my own
Bill?
login now, and I believe Mr. Landman has a login.
I have a login, I haven't
It
been
would
in
be
it,
a suggestion to disable that,
so I
to
didn't,
keep it to township, like administrative staff.
so I haven't been in it, since you have been in.
Okay,
I
that's fine.
haven't been in,
Yeah,
I've been
it was
communicating with
suggested,
Travis
though.
via email. So no, I haven't been a part of that. What I did do is I've been working with him as far as what I don't see on there, what's missing. When I get emails from anybody inside the township, I run that right through to him. And I'll discuss the other things I'm working on with him in a second.
I say we need to get the, do you have an idea on, timeline to get all the documents updated? Because I don't know the scope of it, to know if,
So
you know,
initially
if
it
a
was
week or 6
Yeah.
months to get it done, I'm just trying to
not
get
6
it.
months. It'll probably take me a couple weeks with
Couple
everything
weeks,
else. I mean,
okay.
I'm getting as much as I can in there at the moment. And then it's just reorganizing some things. It doesn't look like anything that was posted from 2024 is on that site. So when you go to the homepage, it's a lot of 2023 information. But without access to the old site, I don't know exactly what was posted before. And I have an idea of some of the things, but not everything.
Yeah.
So it should,
So I'm
when I
trying
last
to-
talked to Kelly, it should have been still there. And she said we wouldn't have access to it. So one of the things I had said to Travis is,
Yeah.
being in this field, I don't just get rid of your website, it's still on my server.
And
So
that's-
we should be
I
able to
did reach
go
out
back
to Kelly
and
and
still
like,
see
you could
that.
see the homepage a little bit for a little bit. I went in and took a bunch of screenshots of that I could, but it's just screenshots of certain things, not getting into everything. But that's all I had time to this
Right.
week.
I just
Meeting week, so it was a
think we
little
should
busy.
understand the scope of what's really involved.
Yeah.
So when this first went down, we were doing multiple scrapes, it was a week and a half. This should be completely resolved, but as he would dig further and further, he's going, hey, listen, this is missing, hey, that's missing. And then it's completely out of my hands or his hands, it's working back and forth to find out what he can get and gain back, so.
Do you need any assistance with this?
I mean, I don't know what I need at the moment, I'm
Okay.
just trying to figure out how to do it. It's really just dumping the stuff from basically my computer into the site,
Okay.
so,
Yeah, just,
I mean,
if you need assistance somehow, I don't know if that's
yeah.
what type of assistance that would look like, but please
I think I
let
can
us
get
know.
to it in the next week or two.
Okay.
It's a little slower with not having a meeting this week or a board of supervisors meeting. It's very
Okay.
time consuming to prepare for.
Got it.
All right, so streaming public meetings, Ms. Kate, you want to tell everybody what you come up with here?
So I reached out to Lower Fred and Lower Salford to see how they stream. They seem to use Zoom and then they upload it to YouTube after the meeting, the day or a couple days later. And then they store everything on, YouTube. They both have professional systems set up in their rooms. They said that was helpful because the microphones, a lot of times if you just have a little camera or a laptop, unless the person's right in front of it, you're not gonna hear everything that's being said. I included a quote that Lower Frederick had for theirs, which is probably much more than we need. They have a much larger space. And there's included a giant TV that I don't know would be necessary for us. So that's just what they had provided and how they did it.
Okay.
So I spoke with Chris Perez from the website company and talked to him about website, streaming the meetings to the website. And I'm actively working with that. He's gonna get back to me. He spoke about streaming these onto the website versus doing it through YouTube. And he's gonna give us options and prices of how to do it.
And Chris is the new website that we're using?
It's, he's a staff member at, I'm probably gonna butcher this gentleman's name too, Triscari, or Ticari, is that who we use?
Just scary.
Triscari, that was close. He's just an employee there who handles the streaming and things like that. So he told me he would get back with me. Since I'm in IT and he and I understood the same language, he told me, he goes, I can do this in probably 2 days. So we could stream it either to the website or we could stream it to YouTube. I told him I like the idea of YouTube because then I'm not paying for the server space. They just let us go ahead and archive it that way. As long as we're not running business ads or anything like that, there's no, revenue costs or anything like that. It should be free to us. So that's where we're at with that.
So what are the next steps?
Next steps is I'm going to talk to Chris Perez from there and hopefully Friday find out. I believe we have a laptop we were going to stick on that shelf up there, is that correct? Has a webcam on it. We've already streamed Zoom meetings here in the past. It's just a matter of logistics. I talked to him about putting an icon next to the meeting minutes on the agenda where you hit the drop down arrow and view the meeting minutes, putting an icon right inside of there. So you can just click it. It'll either take you to the link for YouTube or it'll go ahead and play the video if we choose to have it streaming on the service there. It was just really whatever we decided. We both just didn't really matter. It's just, either way, we're gonna be able to see the movies, or the Netflix, the videos, and everybody will be able to talk. I did too talk to other people as well. The at-home viewership and in-person participation cuts way down. Talked to a couple other folks who said they tried to have that at-home participation, and they said their meetings ended up going 3 and 4 hours. There's all kinds of funny business that goes on. If I wanted to see, not to pick on you, Mr. Jones, but Mr. Jones, it might say Bob's iPad, and it's, logistically labeled to him, but it's Frank over in Newtown, and he just wants to be a rear end. So he suggested the same thing. We're just gonna at-home viewership, in-person participation.
I'd say let's walk before we run.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Let's just
absolutely.
start.
And I agree with you too,
getting it out
Mrs.
there.
Fisher. The videos that I saw online, and again, not to give this gentleman a plug, they've expanded tenfold. I mean, there was back in 21, 7 views, 8 views. Now we're at 80, 90, 100 views for some of them. So I do, as I said, it was right for discussion. I think we'll all be happy and hopefully you guys can sit at home and throw shoes at the camera from home. Anything else on that? Mr. Frisco, Ms. Fisher? All right, moving right
The
along.
only thing I would say is the cost, is there,
That's what I'm gonna get with you.
you'll get,
Oh,
you'll
go
get
ahead,
some.
no, go ahead, that's
Cost
your
was
question.
like, cause you said we have a laptop already, but, you know, camera, microphones you mentioned, make sure that
Right,
you
I
hear,
mean,
I mean, I don't
I
think
don't
any of
know
those are
how great
costly.
the sound
but-
quality is gonna be out of laptop. That's all I'm saying, I don't know if you're gonna be
Right.
able to capture the whole room and the board speaking, especially when multiple people are
Right,
trying to
so
speak
we-
at one time. That's why they were suggesting getting an actual good quality camera and then have microphones set up throughout. They had thought about, they had it other ways where they had like a little card table in the middle of the room with just a home standard video camera on it and a small microphone, they said. It worked, but you know, if someone hits that table or anything and we lack the space really to do that, cause you kinda wanna get people at the podium, so that's why they suggested spend the money now and have a camera set up in the room along with microphones.
So is that something you'll be pricing out, getting prices
I,
on, or?
if you would like me to, I can, you'd have to direct me to do that. Cause what they said is then
Do we
there
all
would be a
need to
laptop
agree to
up
direct her
here
to
that we
figure
would
out the
go ahead
cost?
and run the Zoom or whatever it is from that. We
Yeah.
would connect to the meeting and make it live for people at home. That was Lower Frederick and Lower Southford's suggestion.
I think we should figure out what it costs so that we can, because if we wait till next month to ask you to figure out what it costs, then we're even further
Right, you need
out,
to
so.
decide exactly what you want. I can work on that, I can reach out to them.
Let's give some, provide some options.
New Source Architects, original motion to proceed did not include the design of the drive-through. This motion is included in the additional design. So just to complete what the roads department's needs are, we just want to see what the additional cost would be to add something, a drive-through building for Mr. Heller and the roads department here. And upon speaking with him, this would be like the final piece to his puzzle. Instead of kicking this can down the road and going, hey, we'll replace this year, or that year, or this year. This year just gives him everything he needs now. We're pretty much done with the roads departments. And then we can focus on, you know, other things, if we want to do expansion on this room or something like that, or, you know, we can focus on that.
And this is just for the design again, the architectural
Correct.
plans?
Yeah, cause you approved that change order they provided, but you excluded the drive-through buildings.
Right,
In order to have that big in, I prefer to have a motion to do that.
so this is just to approve the
Just that
$2,000 for the architects to finalize, add this piece to the drawing so that we have a full plan of what the backyard should look like long-term. Whether or not, however we wanna phase it in, the multiple buildings or whatever it is.
That's the way I
Okay.
should have phrased it, for long term.
For
This
long
year,
term,
ju-
if people-
well, it just
We
ends
just
it,
need the
and then
plan
there's
so that we can then,
10 years from now,
budget
we're not
for
worried
that.
about what's going on with Steve. Steve can, you know, he's worried about equipment and things like that versus,
So the
where I'm
additional
gonna
design of
put
the new
this
building
equipment,
is
you know?
excluded from the original.
I'm sure you're
motion.
concerned, Norm. I see you like, yeah. Norm doesn't even live over.
Well, I think it's a great idea, if
Yeah.
you're gonna do a plan, do the full build out,
comprehensive,
regardless of
yeah.
how you construct it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think you get value in constructing everything at one time as well, but everything costs money. But from a plan standpoint, it sure makes sense to have a complex done from that standpoint, and then how you move forward after that.
How you
That's-
fund it
that's-
afterwards.
Sure.
Again,
And factor in expansion down the road.
Yep.
You know, you just don't wanna build a building or a facility that's gonna satisfy your needs today. You need to project a little bit out.
And that's what this building does for him. And that's why I said, listen, I didn't see this on there, why don't we just toss it on and see what we got? All right, so I make a motion to have Loose Architects proceed with the design of the drive-through building at the salt shed in the amount of $2,000. Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, upcoming meetings, we have a zoning hearing board, April 16, 2024, 7 PM. We have the planning commission meeting, April 25th, 2024, 7 PM. Parks and Rec, April 30th, 2024. I'm gonna guess 7 PM? 7 PM. Our announcements, suggestion box for Community Day and other community events. I guess we should put some things in there if anybody has any ideas. Swamp Creek Stomp, May 11th, 2024, 9 a.m. at Wyland Park. Still looking for volunteers, if anybody knows anybody looking to volunteer to help out during this. Upper Frederick Fire Company, Painting with a Purpose, May 16th, 2024. Also looking for volunteers, any Monday night, stop by. Register for Ready Montco, emergency alerts. And 6/22, there's a yard sale at Green Lane for Upper Frederick Fire Department. They'll be selling shirts, so please buy them. Any other comments? Yeah, Mr. Farafa?
I just wanted to make one closing final comment. I was going to make earlier, but I wanted to see how the meeting went. And basically that, John, Mr. Frisco, we come to meetings to accomplish the business of the township. And most of the time, we're using these meetings for your political thought or your political agenda. The best meeting we had this year was a meeting you didn't attend. It was professional, productive, peaceful, at least until the end, until my resident spoke up, made some accusations. I'm not going to make any accusations I don't have facts to back up. I'd like to bring up those facts as part of the ethics violations that occurred on your watch that you were a conspirator to. On December 29th, 30th, and 31st, Mr. Trey issued 3 checks totaling $8,610.16 to Jennifer Buckman Brown, tax collector, which he knew there wasn't adequate funds to cover. This in itself is a violation of PA Crimes Code Title 18, Chapter 41, Subchapter 4105, bad checks. As stipulated to in the consent agreement, the Township Manager, Jackie Cowan, Board of Supervisor, Chairman, Sean Frisco, Vice Chairman, William Trey, and Supervisor, Troy Armstrong, knew that Shaker Buddy was owned by Mr. Trey and Hidden Creek Stock Farm. On January 4th, 2021, at the reorganization meeting, you approved the purchase of Shaker Buddy box from Mr. Trey's farm, knowing that it was a violation of the Ethics Act. Business that should have been conducted at the regular meeting of the Board of Supervisors on January 14th. Meeting minutes that you signed as chairman as being true and correct do not reflect that Trey abstained from the vote or made a public statement revealing his ownership of the Hidden Creek Stock Farm. If the audio recording of that meeting would have been kept, this could be disputed. However, the recording no longer exists when asked for it said to have been destroyed. After that meeting, Mr. Trey was issued a check for $15,000 of the township's money, which he deposited on January 5th in the Hidden Creek Stock Farm account. This payment was not approved or authorized by the board in a public meeting until January 14th, 10 days later. Is that a standard procedure to issue checks before they're approved or read in a public meeting? The ethics findings said that, no, it was not a standard procedure. And then, in fact, it shouldn't have happened. So it appears that $15,000 was illegally removed from the township's fund so that Mr. Trey could get himself out of tax problem, or more importantly, cover up bad checks that he only issued. Knowing the facts as stipulated into the Ethics Commission's findings, it seems that everyone involved could be charged with violation of PA Crimes Code, Title 18, Chapter 9, Subsection 903, criminal conspiracy. Displayed conflict of interest resulted in ethics violation against Mr. Trey. However, after reading the agitation, it is difficult not to conclude that there was a conspiracy on the part of the Township Board, the manager, the solicitor, and others to deceive the residents of this township. The adjudication proves that there were ethics violations a conflict of interest, and everyone involved betrayed their oath of office, lied to this community, and stole this community's money. I believe an independent investigation into this conspiracy, and you're part of it, is in order. And since you are the only conspirator left in office, I ask for you to resign tonight. That's what I have to say. Thank you.
I'd like to read that.
Do you want me to read this?
Yeah, sure.
You good?
Well,
I don't know, he's
I have
asking
no
me to read
idea what
something.
it is.
You had this handy and ready to go? I don't know what it is. In the Court of Common Pleas of Montgomery County, Constable Review Board, pre William Carafa, Constable. Order and now, on this 10th day of October 22nd, pursuant to the recommendation by Board Chairperson, the Honorable Jeffrey Saltz, and having read no response thereto, the Court hereby adopts the recommendation of Chairperson, Honorable Jeffrey Saltz, and orders that Constable Carafa is hereby formally admonished for the above violation and reminded of his obligation to adhere to all relevant statutory requirements when performing his duties as a constable, and be advised that further violations in or affecting Montgomery County may result in further sanctions, including suspension from performing services for Montgomery County.
What was it
Could you
for?
read what the admonishment was for? Because there was seven complaints filed by members of the Republican committee against me, none which were sworn to. One was a mistake in the law that I was taught one way
Are
when I
there
was
previous
certified.
pages to this? Because it's only one page.
Oh, no, there's a book this
Yeah.
thick.
So I'm not
But
sure what
he-
this
he's
is
not
to
gonna
be
show you that page
I'm not
there.
sure what this
So
is
you
to
accomplished his goal.
And I can
is
tell
what
you-
did, is
Yeah.
you
I can
got- you felt
tell you what I was admonished for.
You have a lot of right.
The law had changed. Constables used to only have to get certified with a firearm to do judicial work. I was certified for 7 years. I don't do judicial work anymore, so I stopped getting certified. In that time, they changed the law and stated that all constables will get certified to carry a firearm in any official duties. That was the only thing I was admonished for. He said, now you know the law. I said, now I know the law. Everything
I'm not
else,
sure how any of it.
everything else was found to be untrue.
So I guess in the end here, what are you asking us to do? In the end here, you're asking us
I would
to
like the
investigate?
township to contact the DA and institute an investigation into a possible conspiracy that evolved around that ethics violation, including his part in it.
So,
It's public comment.
so I get the whole investigation thing. So what you're accusing us of, or the board of, is illegal, what exactly is the law?
If you read the ethics violation,
Yes.
they addressed the ethical concern that, yeah, there was violations and conflicts of interest and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
Mr. Trey was dealt with for them. He made an agreement, he let it deal,
Okay,
which is, I have it right here. But if you read that adjudication, it shows you laws have been violated, crimes were committed.